We, as human beings, are very complex creatures. Our minds are one of the many few things that distinguish us from other species in this world. So complex that we ourselves, at times, have difficulties understanding our emotions and the reasoning behind the actions we take. We all feel down from time to time, whether it be over that 68 you got on a math exam, to just having thoughts about your own self worth. I've come to realize that this poem can apply to my life in numerous aspects. One of those being in that it gave me clarity on what actually matters in life and to be humble for what I have been blessed with. Sadness, a half peeled apple. Not a metaphor, not a poem, merely there. A half peeled apple. Sadness, merely there. Yesterday's evening paper, merely there. Merely there, a warm breast, merely there, nightfall. Sadness apart from words, apart from the heart, merely here, the things of today. Shuntaro Tanikawa was born in Tokyo, Japan in 1931, the son of a philosopher and a concert pianist. As an only child, he found inspiration in his family's summer home in Karuizawa. The beauty of the plants and landscapes would soon find their way into his future works of literature. He began publishing his work as a teenager and has devoted much of his life to writing for children. He has created over 60 anthologies of poetry for children, as well as picture books and translations of other authors' works, including collections of Mother Goose rhymes, as well as writing the lyrics to the theme song of Studio Ghibli's Howl's Moving Castle. In his work, he seeks to educate children about the realities of life through the use of wordplay, rhythms of language, and simplicity of style. He is one of the most widely read and highly regarded of living Japanese poets, both in Japan and abroad, and a frequent subject of speculations regarding the Nobel Prize in Literature. Tanikawa was born during the years of World War II, where he, at his young age, experienced a rivalry of the world. Because of this, you could take an immediate understanding to the poem itself. What I found to be ironic about this poem was that while the title would suggest that the poem's tone will be one of despair, its purpose, in my opinion, is not that at all. Tanikawa has said, end quote, I dive into my subconscious and wait with my mind emptied as much as I can. This implies that he does not write when he succumbs to an extreme emotional state, but rather just finds a time in his day to write when he gets a chance. The poem overall's purpose is to express to the reader that the emotion of sadness is nothing more than a single word. It cannot control you, nor should you allow it to interfere with your life. There is no rhyme scheme, however there is no need for it. While the poem does not contain a complicated vocabulary, its simplicity is able to reflect Tanikawa's mannerism in which he writes. It is this that allows him to connect to young readers by incorporating simple, everyday objects into his work. The constant repetition of the phrase merely there is to add emphasis to the emotion state. It is just an emotion and nothing more, not only in repetition, but symbolism as well. He describes sadness as a half-peeled apple, not a metaphor and not a poem. The fruit represents the individual, or rather the reader's suffering. Since half of its skin is gone, it will soon eventually spoil away and be left to rot, much like those who bottle up their own emotions. Overall, I believe the message Shuntaro is trying to convey is that your perspective on the world around you matters. You have the choice to either allow negative thoughts to consume you or to find joy in even the smallest occurrences in your life.